Good morning, everyone. The topic that I was asked, Mr. Kesar asked me to talk about was artificial intelligence, AI. I'm assuming everybody's heard of it. Anybody who's never heard of what AI is? AI, suna to hai na sabne? Okay. So I'm going to talk about things and what these are my thoughts and some of the things I read about and what people are talking about, how AI will probably transform the way not only the world but particularly our fashion industry. So I'm going to first test everybody's GK a bit. Okay. So everybody's awake? Awake? All right. So these are important dates in human history. Milestones, I would say. And I want everybody to make a guess what happened on this date. And there is a technology bent to it. So the technology or a science bent to it. So it's about milestones in human history. So any guesses? What happened on this date? Huh? No? You yes, that is not a milestone. I'll give a hint. A book was released on this date. And one of the most profound books of scientific research on which everything is based. Okay, since nobody's guessed it, it was this, Principia Mathematica. This was written by Isaac Newton. And if you really look at human history and milestones and what scientific achievements were made, this book was a fundamental watershed moment in human history. And things like calculus, a lot of other things, principles came about through this book. So this was a tough one actually. Next one. So artificial intelligence, but I just want everybody to be awake actually. So this date. This is a date. This is not a specific date. Any guesses? You were quite close actually for this one. Yeah, it came. It came a little later. This is the start of the Industrial Revolution. So 1760, around that time, is considered as when the Industrial Revolution started. It was a dramatic event. I mean, suddenly in a very, very short span of time, and actually, incidentally, it started with the textile industry. Industrial Revolution was born out of the textile industry. So we are the creators of the Industrial Revolution. Unfortunately, we've kind of not kept pace. So this was the start of the Industrial Revolution, and you had in a series or maybe in a decade, 40 times improvement in productivity. 40 times, amazing. So 10 garment bana rahe, 400 bana rahe. I mean, we'll die if somebody does that. I mean, we'll be happy jumping up and down. Somebody did 40 times improvement. Okay, so nobody got this one. All right, so next one. मेरे पास time है ना? No, nothing. No theory. So actually my son got this. My son got this date. So I think my son is smarter than most of you. I had to Google it. Okay. Huh? Oh my, yeah, right. So I think you need to give you a prize. So first flight by the Wright brothers. This was the start of the flying age. Amazing transformation. I mean, this was a milestone event. It changed the way we operate, and it actually not just flew, it changed the way the world connected, changed the way wars were fought. I mean, these things fundamentally have changed and altered the way human history. All right, next one. I don't have too many. Next one. This one. This is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. Any guesses? I'll give you one hint. It's got to do with biology. And they won the Nobel Prize for this. Nope. Okay, so this was the discovery of the double helix. Watson and Crick, double helix, the DNA. So, huge discovery. I think the implications of this will keep going on for hundreds and hundreds of years. Eventually, most diseases will be solved through DNA. And we figured that we have 46 chromosomes and all those things have come about through this discovery. All right, this one's the easiest and you have to get it, okay? So if people don't get it, Not ये नहीं बोलूँगा, लेकिन मतलब I'll be very sad. Okay, this one. अरे ये तो मिलता. Yes, landing on the moon. Landing on the moon. Moon landing. Again, a milestone event in human history. Milestone event. This was the start, and we will go now, and that's where the human history is going to go. We're going to go to all the planets, and 200 years from now, we'll be at least in a few planets, definitely. And this is the starting point, and we will look back, and they will look back. This was the event. This was the first time we flew. This was the first time we did this. Amazing, and we're very lucky to have been born around this time, we feel, where human history really changed things. This is the last one. Okay. You have to guess this one. This is going to be very tough to guess. Very tough. No. Okay. I will give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. It had to do something with chess. Yeah, that's the day a computer beat Garry Kasparov, Deep Blue beat Garry Kasparov. Garry Kasparov was the smartest, best chess player the world ever produced. He was the reigning champion of the world, and Deep Blue beat him. It was a fundamental change in the way we looked at computers. It's huge, and I will talk about why, and that's the point of today what I'm talking about. Because Deep Blue, if you look at a chess, everybody knows chess, idea hai na? Chess ke andar, within 4 moves, you're talking about billions and billions of combinations, possibilities, within 4 moves. Okay? So 26 to the power, whatever you name, it's actually much, the calculation, billions. So it was thought not conceivable for a computer to have the computing power to work it out, and because Garry Kasparov could think 10 moves ahead, 15 moves ahead. And it was not conceivable that a computer would be able to beat the best chess player the world produced. And it beat him. Why did it beat him? Because fundamentally, the people who were programming this thing had a different approach to chess than what had been used in the past, and what people thought. Okay? And the point I'm trying to do is I'm going to build you and explain to you what our AI is. So what they did was, they said, why are human beings good at solving problems and doing chess? Why? Why are they? So they said that if we want to build a smart computer which can solve problems, and create something which is intelligent, let's use the most common example of intelligence around, which is human intelligence. It says, let's create a program which thinks like a human being. And I'll not go into the biology of it. We talk about neural networks and how we think. That's another discussion, but they actually programmed a computer and said, let's try to mimic how a human being thinks and how a human being approaches a problem. And they programmed it in Deep Blue. They had been trying to fight, and they were losing for many years. These matches have happened in a while, so they kept happening, and Garry Kasparov could beat anybody, and in fact, initially, even a grandmaster could beat any computer. But finally, they were able to. This was the first game a computer won. It was huge news. I don't know if people remember it, reading it. It was huge news. And I believe it is a fundamental milestone in human history, and I'll tell you why. Why and how it will affect the way we work. So what is artificial intelligence? Okay, so we've read about it, and I think we all intuitively know. We all have artificial intelligence. All of us, except we call it intelligence. Okay, but we all have artificial intelligence, and so it's not something which is weird, but it's just, rather than telling something to do something more efficiently, we tell something to figure it out and find an efficient way. Okay? So I'll give you an example very quickly. So I have to go from point A to point B. So I have to tell a robot to go from point A to point B. So one way would be, so Point A, point B. What do I do? What do I tell the computer, robot? Point there, yep, draw a straight line, walk, go to that direction and walk. And you go from point A to point B, okay? Now, so I've written a program saying point A to point B, move your right leg, then left leg, point in there, move your right, left leg, and then you will eventually reach there, right? Very simple. So if I had to write a program, an artificial intelligence program, how it will work? How will it do? How will it approach that problem? Okay? So what it will do is, again you've got point A. So I'm a robot, and Prashant tells me he's my programmer. He says, robot, go from point A to point B. How you get there, I don't care. Get there from point A to point B. And how he tells me there's only one thing. You will know you are at you've reached that point B when your distance from point B becomes 0. So my objective is very simple. I have to do something so that eventually, whenever I measure my distance where I am vis-a-vis point B, it has to eventually become 0. Because when it's become 0, I've reached that point, right? That's how we work. So what I'll do, I'm a robot, he's not giving me other instructions, so I'll say, okay, let me move my head. I remain there. So I'll move my arms, I'm still not moving, and every time I do something, I check, did my distance change? No, it's not changed. So after a while, I move this, and I do this. I say, okay, let me move my foot, and the point B is there, so I go here. And I check again, I said, my distance changed. It's actually increased. So the program says, okay, something happens when I've moved my foot. It's increased or decreased, but something's happened. That means there is some correlation between moving my feet and the distance that I am. So I'll say, okay, let me stop bothering about moving my head in all these places, because frankly, moving the head, moving the eyes really doesn't make any difference. So it's irrelevant. So let me start moving my foot. So I move my foot here, I find out the distance. So I said, no, बढ़ गया, वापस आ गया. So I'll say, move my distance. Foot here. I said, कम हो गया. So I will keep going. And then as I keep moving, I'm figuring out whenever I move, is the distance increasing or decreasing? And very quickly, I figure out, as I'm doing a lot of experiments, that the best way to move is go point there and go in that straight line. Move my right, left foot. So this computer or a robot has figured out how to walk, how to go from point A to point B. Prashant never had to program it. He just had to tell me, go from point A to point B. You are at point B when you figured out it is 0. Distance is 0. That's it. Nothing else. That's it. Okay? I remember you talked about ego and emotion, and I found it very interesting. I think one of the reasons why computers and these programs are going to really score well against us, because they don't have emotions. And I'm not going to go into ethical issues and other things, but they don't have emotions. They don't have an ego. So if I'm experimenting and I'm going wrong, I don't mind if 50 people are looking at me. I'm a robot. I don't care if people think I'm stupid, but eventually I'll figure out the right way and I'll be the best at it. We humans don't tend to experiment because there are two things actually. One, we have finite time, finite effort we can put in. And second, there's a fear of failure. We are genetically programmed to fear failure, because otherwise we won't survive. And this guy doesn't care about surviving. Computer doesn't care about surviving. It has no emotion. It has nothing. It just is told, this is what you're supposed to achieve, and it does it. Okay. He talked about Google Maps. Okay, Google Maps, if you notice, has become very smart in the last 3-4 years, very accurate. Today, if you use Google Maps versus 3 years ago, there's a big difference. It's much more accurate. वो बोलता है 45 minutes में, तो 45 minutes से plus minus पहुंच जाते हो. It's become much more accurate. And it's not because somebody has been programming it. कोई बैठा हुआ Google में बैठ के प्रोग्राम कर रहा है, इसको मैं थोड़ा सा कर दूं. Nothing. They developed that program. They are not fundamentally, जिसने बनाया होगा प्रोग्राम उसको पता भी नहीं दिल्ली की गलियां क्या है, वो नहीं पता, जरूरत भी नहीं है. But what they have done is, Google is collecting billions and billions, that software is collecting billions and billions of pieces of information, figuring out the result, trying to predict, figuring out whether the result was okay or not, and keep correcting itself. Human beings have a problem. We only basically are collecting information that we experience, but a computer can experience almost infinite number of experiences. Okay, I got it wrong. Okay, and it's relentless. 24 घंटे चलता रहता है. It's learning all the time. Okay, so I'm trying to build you up onto artificial time हो रहा है. हाँ? Okay. नहीं मैं 10 मिनट में हो पाएगा. पहले बता दूं. ठीक है वो I'll talk to him. So it's relentless. Okay. So what does this mean, yaar? I mean, मैं बता रहा हूँ, I'm talking about this. So the whole idea was for you guys to actually figure out what artificial intelligence is, and I tried to explain it in layman terms what it really means. Okay, so what does it really mean? I'm going to talk about in the garment industry how it's affecting it, but we are seeing it all around our world. I mean, we're talking about driverless cars. I mean, it's a reality now. Tesla is actually coming out with cars which are built in for driverless. They're just allowing drivers to drive. And what it's doing is, as the driver is driving, the car is learning. And it's not learning itself, it's actually teaching all the other cars how a good driver should be, or how mistakes are made. It's constantly picking it up. We're there, we are, and I would say the age of artificial intelligence, so we had industrial age, we had whatever other ages were at this, we entered the artificial intelligence age about 3 years ago. We entered that age well and truly, it is well and truly now underway. And it is fundamentally changing the way the world is now operating, fundamentally. So I'll talk about where it will affect our trade in big way, and I've tried to order it in terms of what I think will happen sooner rather than later, and try to prioritize, and then we'll try and figure out if there is something in it for us. So okay, retailers. So we all working with buyers, retailers, etc. And I will ask one small trivia question. Which is the second largest apparel retailer in terms of number of garments in America? Prashant, which is the second largest apparel retailer in terms of number of garments? It's Amazon. It's Amazon. Amazon is the second largest apparel retailer of garments in America as of now. 10 years ago, it was not even in the top 1,000. It has no designers. It has no merchandisers to speak of. I mean, they don't have the knowledge of what sells, what garments are sold, is not residing with anybody. This is residing in those servers. The servers are deciding, they are looking at what we are doing, they are deciding that if I live in 102, Faridabad, and in this place, because that's my shipping address, this artificial intelligence is figuring out, okay, this guy must be of this financial strata, he would be there, and they're making guesses, and they're just picking up pieces of information and understanding their customer very, very well. So the first thing which is happening is market segmentation. Today, I mean, if you've talked about marketing, we have talked about market segmentation hoti hai, 16 to millennials bol diya, 16 to 20-year-olds bol diya. We say, oh, we look at 25 to 30-year-olds, fat women, small, slim, and we probably have 15, 20, 40, 50 market segmentations when we talk about the apparel industry, high-end. Amazon is not in that business. For Amazon, every human being is a market segment. Every human being is a different person, so every human being is a market segment. And computers are becoming smart and smart to figure out what exactly works with Gunish. What exactly? Companies can't do it. Companies with a traditional way can't do it. A Gap or an H&M, they simply don't, they are right now totally unequipped to figure it out. उनको मोटा-मोटा पता है कि अच्छा हाँ ये garment बिकता है ठीक है. But Amazons of the world which are really investing in this are creating programs which are really, and the knowledge is not with any human being, the knowledge is with those servers. And they're constantly learning, constantly, relentlessly learning. And that's the reason why Amazon is second largest, and for sure it will be the largest 5 years from now. For sure. Apparel retailer. It will be probably the largest retailer of almost 80% of things in the world, 80% of things in America in the next few years. Simply because it is doing this market segmentation, and this whole concept of market segmentation is going to be finishing. We're going to have every individual will be a unique person. It will be tailored to their likes and they will be understanding what Tony is based on his buying behavior, based on where he lives, based on what he does, and they will cater everything to his specific needs. How can a retailer beat it? It's very difficult. That's why 25% of all malls in America, online के लोग बात करते हैं, the real game is happening in artificial intelligence, where 25% of malls in America will become out of business within the next 5 years. Malls खाली हो रहे हैं अमेरिका में, बुरा हाल है. Because in a mall, it's becoming very difficult for them to understand their customer as well as these companies are. And frankly, a lot of these apparel companies, fashion companies, they are not tuned for technology. They're not built for technology. They're not meant to do this. Abhi time bacha. Oh, khatam hone wala hai. Planning. So planning will change. How they plan their orders. We currently have buyers deciding itne piece order karne hai. I think it's going to be history very quickly. Already buyers are being told ye kharidna chahiye, softwares are generating that, but it's going to be history. Planning, because why to keep $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year person who's planning stuff and doing it inefficiently versus get a program which is learning all the time. Learning all the time. कि मैंने गलती क्या की प्लानिंग में, अच्छा लाख पीस ऑर्डर किए थे यार 15,000 फालतू रहेगा, अच्छा मैं चलो कम करता हूँ. And it's experimenting all the time. And it's not just picking from here, it's picking from everybody. जो प्लानर को तो अपना पता होगा डेटा, उसको तो सब पूरी कंपनी का पता क्या हो रहा है. And it's analyzing it, using it to do it. Designing. So designing will change fundamentally because अभी डिजाइन चाहिए तो आप बनाते हो. And if you notice, a lot of your buyers are actually pushing designs to you कि डिजाइन आप करके दो. There's a pressure because design may you have to churn out. It's a lot of hard work to churn out a design. What companies are working on, this is already here now. It is only a matter of a few, maybe couple of years when it becomes affordable. But what's going to happen is I am a buyer and say, यार पता है क्या ये ना sunflower बड़ा fashion में है. I tell the program, give me 50 options for sunflowers. There's an AI program which comes out, creates 50 designs of sunflower dresses, sunflower this, that, and not just stupid ones, very, very good ones, which will be copyright proof, etc. Nothing copied from the internet. They are just creating it. 50, which will take an army of people, and will be done in a matter of minutes, churning it out. So वो design में बैठे हो, design team कर रही है, designs बना रहे हैं, and all of that. It's going to change. And the reason I am talking about retailers first, because if you look at a garment cost, 75% अगर $20 का FOB है, $5 हमें मिलते हैं, $15 बायर यूज करता है. किस क्या करने के लिए? खर्चा करने के लिए ना, मार्केटिंग ये वो overheads. So if I had to go and fix a problem, I'll first not look at the $5, first look at the $15 and say ये खर्चे थोड़े मेरे को मेहनत करूंगा उसमें बचेंगे. And that's what's happening. And retailers who don't do it, frankly, they're going to be out of business. They might have a good 1 year, 1 season अच्छा design बिक गया, they're going to be out of business for sure. कोई रोक नहीं सकता इसको. कोई रोक ही नहीं सकता. They will be out of business if they don't do this. Okay? नहीं सर अभी नहीं इतने सर रिटेलर जा रहे हैं ना सर it will ना सर we will not get into that detail. I'm talking मैं गारमेंट पे आने वाला हूँ. हाँ टाइम नहीं है मेरे पास, टाइम दो मेरे को मैं और बताऊंगा. नहीं वो buyers आपके Amazon को बेचेंगे.
So you mean
Amazon will tell, in fact what's going to happen is Amazon sir आप okay all right okay sir
आपकी फैक्ट्री कैसे बंद?
अब सर मैं आ गया सर, गारमेंट फैक्ट्री पे आ गया सर, गारमेंट फैक्ट्री पे आ गया सर.
Sir, there will be an Amazon registration counter outside. You can register yourself. And
okay, so garment factories. So what's going to happen to garment factories? Okay, everybody's curious. Okay. So communications, the first thing which is going to get changed in the way we communicate. And I will talk about communication, not email hum jo kar rahe hain, all of that. No. Right now, if you look at merchants, they're spending a lot of time communicating, looking at an email, figuring out what to respond. You have already, if you look at spam filters, spam filters gotten very good. at Google. Very good. 7-8 साल पहले spam filters आ जाते थे. Now spam is they're becoming very, very good at it. And again, Google is not programming it. There are algorithms they've written who are artificial intelligence. They're figuring out what's happening. They're constantly learning from billions and billions of emails. What's happening, they're figuring it out. So what's going to happen to communication is you will have there will be AI program which will sit on top of an email program, which will be reading your emails and deciding based on understanding which emails are important, which emails are not important. Which emails have to be responded to immediately, which emails don't have to be responded immediately. And reading the email, I'm not saying कि urgent लिखा हुआ है तो वो पढ़ लिया, वो तो बड़ा simple काम है. But really reading emails and saying ये email अच्छा इस order के relation में है, work that merchants do and say ये order का है, पूछ लिया, ये सब कर लिया. The software will that sits on top of it, read it and tell ये email का respond करना है, ये करना है, इसको नहीं करना. It'll also figure out इस email का अगर response आधे घंटे में नहीं दिया तो boss को email भेजनी है मेरे को. The program will do it. No human being will be doing it. The program will do it. So dramatically changing the way we communicate, dramatically changing the way we are responding. And suddenly a merchant who can handle 3 buyers or 5 buyers and maybe 100 styles can probably be able to manage 50 buyers. I mean, it will be exponential, the number, because a lot of 80, if you look at really, you look at the 80-20 rule, 80% of the stuff is routine, and that can be easily, if something can start reading, it will change. And this is actually probably the next, I would say 2 years, this technology will be affordable to all of us. It will become standard, and 3 years, 4 years from it will become standard. वो अपने आप respond कर रहा होगा for most of the things. Next would be quality control. So quality control business will probably go out of business. Okay, and I make these statements because they're meant to provoke. I mean, these statements are meant to provoke. Okay, so people should feel it. Time है मेरे पास, दूंगा मैं. ठीक है? I know Animesh keeps looking at me and just ऐसे करके बैठा हुआ है. Okay, so what will happen to quality control? A factory which is having 10,000 pieces production daily, how many QCs do they have? Any? यहाँ तो गारमेंट वाले बैठे हैं, बता दो जी, 10,000 पीस अगर बनते हो दिन के, कितने QC होते हैं? सब मिला लो, ऑडिटर्स ये वो सब करा, कितने होंगे? Over 100. करते क्या है वो? नहीं करते हैं कुछ, बट करते क्या है? I'm asking, what do? They inspect, they check. What are they checking? Looking at a garment. 3 days ago, John Deere, anybody knows what John Deere is? I'll keep talking, you can't interrupt me. You asking a question? Okay, we'll talk later. What answer? Okay, sir, if you have.
Our industry believes in making quality rather than cheap.
Okay, good one. But I'm living in the real world, so I'll talk about actual quality control. John Deere is what? Anybody knows what John Deere is? It's the largest farm equipment manufacturer in the world. 3 days ago, they bought an artificial intelligence company for $308 million. And the company had incidentally just, I think, 11 or 12 employees. And what that company did was, the company developed technology, and John Deere will have pesticide, उनके इतने बड़े-बड़े nozzles होते हैं, pesticide फेंक रहा होता है वो in the farm. So that company put a technology on top of the John Deere thing, and it actually will look at the farm as the nozzles are moving and say कौन सा actual plant में बीमारी है और वहीं ही pesticide गिरता है. Rather than filling the whole farm with pesticides, it is knowing, looking at the color shape of the plant, which is the plant जिस पे pesticide डालना है. Surgical strike बोल लो. 80% reduction in chemical usage. 80% reduction in chemical usage. 80%. John Deere, 80%. Can you imagine? कितने pesticide कम होंगे? So imagine what is this technology doing? वो देखता है, शक्ल देखता है और बताता है किसमें बीमारी है. If you have that in a garment, एक ऊपर लगा दो, वो देखता है शक्ल गारमेंट की, कौन सा गारमेंट ठीक है. Why do you need a QC? QC पे भी काम कर रहे हैं. I disagree with you again. But because it is learning all the time, I don't need to train QCs, because if I am it's always learning. I am saying उसको सिखा नहीं सकते, उसको वो सिखाया पढ़ा लिखा नहीं है, वो शुरू में बहुत गलतियां करेगा, but as it keeps learning, like I talked about, it has no ego, it is relentless. It will definitely go in and take that out. It will become better than anything. And I'm going to get it to another thing which will be a little more scary, but I'll get to that. नहीं करेगा ना सर, वो सर एक चीज बताओ, उसको हम सिखा रहे हैं.
Buying officers would be buying it.
Sir, we don't need to go. I need to finish. But yeah, I'll take more time. Okay. I'm sorry, yaar. I mean,
We can have a tea break time.
नहीं, but I need to finish my thought process. अब anyway, अब 2 minutes आपने waste कर दिए मेरे. हाँ? Okay, so finally come to production, and I'm talking about this is the more scary part. Okay. So the production, what's going to happen to production, and I'm giving you this sequence. There's a method to the madness, because this is the sequence in which things will happen. Retailers first, so हम बड़े खुश हैं, retailer मरेंगे, बहुत अच्छी बात है, वो improve करेंगे, हमको रोते रहते हैं, बोलते रहते हैं कम करो, उनका सबसे पहले कम करना पड़ेगा उनका, वो हो जाएगा. Communication, quality control, production. Production के अंदर what are the things which will happen? So I talked about quality control. Production is fundamentally a little different, because human beings have one thing which is a technological marvel. It's an amazing engineering piece. It is the pinnacle of life. Life की जो engineering हुई है उसका सबसे best चीज है. And any guesses of what is it? It's a physical feature we have, which is the most amazing feature. उसका कोई comparable ही नहीं है. Physical feature, हाँ? ठीक है. What? Somebody said. Hands. Yeah. Akshay got it. Hand. This is the engineering marvel. It's an absolute engineering marvel. Nothing compares in life what a hand is. It can touch, it has sensory, it is so dexterous. It can hold a pen, it can draw a beautiful picture, it can box, it is such a versatile thing. Engineering has still not been able to come up to that quality of a hand. इसलिए सिलाई वाले बचे हुए हैं अभी. ठीक है, हम लोग बचे हुए हैं, ठीक है. But what's going to happen? The first step is going to be the death of the dumb machine. The dumb machine is going to die. So if you're buying a sewing machine and it's just doing so what the companies are doing, abhi jo these equipment manufacturers, if they are not putting in machines which are learning, and I'm talking about we don't need machines that are smart from day one. We need machines which are learning all the time. Because so you will have sewing machines जिसके ऊपर technology AI पड़ेगी. Company will come like John Deere के जो आई, which will put on a software and say this machine is always learning. उसको पता है pressure कैसे है, वो सीखी जा रही है, वो सीखा जा रहा है, ठीक है. And that will be the death of the dumb machine, not the sewing machine, the dumb machine. When I talk about any machine, if it's not learning, if it's not better tomorrow, if it's not usse better the day after, that machine should be junked and thrown out into the garbage. And smart companies, that's what they're really doing. The other thing is, hand dexterity पे बहुत काम हो रहा है. Probably 10 years from now, I'd say 10 years, this hand dexterity will be fixed. And that's when things will really dramatically change in terms of what the shop floor will start looking like. However, you will start noticing a lot of handling of fabric and garments will start changing. You'll have stitching machines which are smart. You just feed it, it'll figure out उसकी alignment ठीक नहीं है, it'll fix it, it'll know right stitching. So quality की जो problems आएंगी ना वो खत्म हो जाएंगे because सिलाई सीधी होगी. So there's a little while down the road, but production will definitely change as the hand dexterity portion problem is fixed. But stitching machines, cutting machines, they will be smart. They will become better and better. आपको भी कोई CAD CAM बेचता है, and you say, okay, sir, ये चीजें करती है, अच्छा है, बढ़िया है, सीखता कितनी है, कितना ज़्यादा सीखती है? बोले सर क्या होता है? बोले सर सीखना चाहिए उसको. Now I'm going to talk about one final thing. मेरा टाइम आप हो रहा है, but इन्होंने भी थोड़ा टाइम लिया था, ठीक है? So anybody knows the Borg? What is the Borg? Yeah, Akshay. Star Trek, the Borg. Yeah, the tennis player, but yes, good one. But the Borg, Akshay, you can tell me something about the Borg or enlighten everybody about the Borg. Yeah. Okay. So the Borg is the character. The quest is perfection. The Borg has one quality. The Borg is a collective. And the collective is the Borg. Every Borg is a thing, and उसके सारे लोग बैठे हुए हैं, ठीक है? So all they are Borgs, but every Borg is learning from every other Borg. They are all connected. It's called the collective. So what is going to happen? That this sewing machine, which was, उसको मैंने सिखाया भी तो फ्रंट प्लैकेट बना दे, फ्रंट प्लैकेट बनाई जा रही है, गलतियां भी कर रही है, कोई बात नहीं, रिजेक्टेड फैब्रिक दे रखा है, बनाई जा रही है, विल नॉट गो आउट ऑफ बिजनेस, रिजेक्टेड फैब्रिक तो बहुत होता है हमारे पास, सो ठीक है, सो वो सीखी जा रही है. द थिंग इज दिस पर्टिकुलर सॉफ्टवेयर विच इज रनिंग इट और मैनेजिंग इट is on the collective, and it is connected to the 200,000 machines which are sewing. कोई कॉलर बना रहा है, कोई बैंडर से काम कर रहा है, and factories all over the world. So you've never taught that machine how उसको front placket ही करी उसने. Next morning, in the night, those machines kind of software sit and actually say, हमने क्या सीखा during the day? Okay, you learned placket, I learned collar. You learned cuff, I learned this. They all teach each other seamlessly. Next morning you say, यार मुझे cuff भी चाहिए. The thing knows cuff. It actually knows cuff as well as if it's made the cuff 50,000 times. It will know the collar as if it has done 100,000 collars. It doesn't have to do it. Human beings की एक problem है. जब मैं खुद नहीं किया होता, Tony can tell me anything, but जब तक मैं खुद नहीं करूँगा, शायद मैं गलतियाँ नहीं करूँगा, I might not do it. That's what's going to happen. That Borg, the collective wisdom will come in, and it will be the multiplier which will dramatically increase the pace at which we are learning. So, जो आप कह रहे हो ना, we'll go. So, हर बंदा बोलेगा कि आपकी फैक्ट्री, इनकी फैक्ट्री, मेरी फैक्ट्री, सबकी फैक्ट्री में 100 पल्ले हम वेस्ट कर देंगे. पर क्या है, जो 100 की लर्निंग हुई will be multiplied by, so each of our things has contributed to 10,000. So we don't need to do 10,000 trials. Thing would have learned it. It will learn it so rapidly, so fast, and keep improving. So I just want to leave that thought in terms of this. So are we all doomed? So you asked this. Are we all doomed? Any answers? Huh? Yes, no? Anybody, people who think we are doomed, please raise your hands. Okay, everybody's an optimist. Good, good. Okay, so this one quote which came out 4 days ago. This is a tweet from Elon Musk. He said this. He's one of the cutting edge people. And he says, competition for AI superiority at national level most likely will cause of World War III. That's what he said. He and Mark Zuckerberg are having a fight on artificial intelligence. He's against it. Mark Zuckerberg said it's a fantastic thing. So they're having a big fight. There's an ethical debate going on this. Okay. So the answer was no. This is the right answer. The answer is no. So I'll wrap up now. I've taken up too much of my time. So what should companies do? What should we do? क्या करें सर? Good one. What should we do? धंधा तो यही आता है. What should we do? And I talked about cherry pick. Cherry picking. What do you want to really do? Absolutely. And I think we need to take a call whether we want to be on this side of history or this side of history. We need to take a call. And the call is not garment ना कभी पहनने बंद नहीं होने वाले. वो तो कोई प्रोटेक्ट नहीं कर रहा. गारमेंट तो इंसान पहनेगा ही. दूसरी, चाइना और इंडिया अगर गारमेंट पहनने शुरू कर गया, खरीदना शुरू कर दे, तो इतने गारमेंट चाहिए होंगे, हमारी फैक्ट्रियां सप्लाई नहीं कर पाएंगी. सो वी नीड गारमेंट्स फॉर श्योर. द थिंग इज, आर वी गोइंग टू बी प्रोड्यूसिंग 1,000 garments in a factory or 10,000, 5,000? Are we going to be handling 3 buyers, 5 buyers? How can we use these tools? And what are the easier things to implement in your own factory? And trust me, it is there. The technology is there. We've actually just come out, I run a software company, just come out with a new version of our software, which well, it will learn itself. So you don't need to customize for each customer. You need to. Well, I'm talking about software. You actually need to. So we built software we just launched now. Actually, based on what data you're entering, it will keep learning. उसको पता है कि फैब्रिक अगर आप खरीदते हो उसको डाइंग के लिए भेजते हो अगली बार खेलेगा ये इस टाइप का फैब्रिक होता है डाइंग पे जाना चाहिए डाइंग का पीओ बनाकर अपने बोलेगा कौन सा वेंडर है वो सब खत्म यू डोंट नीड टू मैन्युअली डू दिस you will have softwares which will take a particular document purchase order आया हम feed करते हैं it will scan it, it will read it, character reading, it's again artificial intelligence reading what it is and the PO will be entered into the system. We need to figure out what are the immediate things we can implement, what could be a step by step of improving productivity at every level. And there are a number of things, tools available out there, freely available also, which we can implement. So I talk about cherry pick, look at what things you can do, look at your business, look at the way your processes are, and see what can be done, and really think out of the box. I mean, the whole idea, objective of this whole talk was to think really differently. I mean, differently. Okay, last slide. Ride the wave. Let's ride it. I mean, human beings are very resilient. Let's ride the wave. Let's use it as a way to really improve our productivity. One of our biggest challenges as a country is productivity. If we can give people the tools to be more productive, लोगों को तनख्वाह डबल देनी पड़ेगी, दे भी आएंगे और कमा भी पाएंगे दो पैसे. It's a question of whether we can ride that wave. And I think I want to leave that thought in everybody's mind. It is a huge field. I would love for each one of you to kind of get back with me and give me feedback on, what you think are the areas garment industry can work upon. I think there's plenty of areas we look at. Right? Thanks.